time for beer. Good evening. It's day 6 of the X-Pyr 2024. I'm here with Darren Goodlad, who was Keith Paterson's supporter in the last edition in 2022. And he has been flying paragliders for 6 years and lives and flies in the Lake District in England. How are you doing?
Hi, Judith. Hi, everybody. I'm doing well, thank you. I'm enjoying the racing so far. It's been pretty spectacular the past 2 days. An awful lot has happened in such a short space of time.
It has. I mean, for me, it was get yourself to goal because they're coming, and I've done nothing but welcome pilots into goal since.
Which is an amazing change from some of the previous editions.
Well, I mean, we've never had 7 in goal in an edition, as far as I know. I should probably check that actually before I say that. But we've certainly never had 16 in, which is what we've got now.
Yeah, and there's at least 2 more to come in tonight. 1 more.
1 more, maybe. Marcus Walfel is about, well, I don't know. His girlfriend's waiting for him. His other supporters gone towards him to walk with him. At 2 hours to go, he still had 9 kilometers to do, but obviously there's a big height difference as well to get up the hill.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's we were all hoping for a lion tomorrow. But if he camps just across the crest, he's going to be here at 7:30 or 7:15.
Yeah. So. And looking at the live tracking, there'll be 2 more not much further behind him. So.
Yeah, no, we think we might end up with 23 or 24 in goal on total, which would be just amazing.
Wow, that is astonishing. Yeah. Considering the weather they've had, the conditions they've all been running and racing in. Yeah, that's quite an astonishing result, really.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't have been like this if we hadn't eliminated turn point 5. But no, if you look at what happened at turn point 5 when they would have been getting there, it would have basically been a guaranteed day of walking because there was just so many storms in that part of France. And so, for me, it was absolutely we needed to not make them walk a second day. It was really imperative that happened. And it's just amazing. I mean, it's everybody's dream to get from Atlantic to Mediterranean and to see so many people do it. And so many people really, really emotional and totally overwhelmed because, they've come up and then they see that vista of El Port de la Selva beneath them. I mean, it's been amazing to see them all and a real honor and privilege to be the one to welcome them.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Shane's interview. Shane and Rich both looked, really, they wanted to get into the ocean, obviously, but they were both so emotionally overwhelmed. And I loved Shane's little ditty about he'd not even got any plans for after turn point 4. He didn't think he was going to get that far. And yeah, amazing results for everybody concerned.
Well, Rich was in tears. He was so emotional that Shane, because I didn't know this, but Shane has never done a hike and fly competition before. Like never. Yeah, this was his first.
Pretty amazing, isn't it? He's obviously incredibly fit. He supported Rich at the X Alps, so he's obviously incredibly fit. But yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And quite a lot of the rookies this year have done amazingly well, considering. And it's not like the change and removal of the turn point has made things easier for the front runners. They've been stuck in thunderstorms. They've had terrible weather at the front as well. It's not just been the pack in the middle or at the back. Everyone's had to go through some horrific conditions.
Well, so one of the guys that came into goal today was Tommy Friedrich. He came in 10th. Austrian pilot, works with Simon Oberrauner in the same flying school. And he said that the thunderstorm that he was in, where he accidentally clipped the airspace and got penalized for, he said it was the worst day he's ever had flying. And that's something from somebody who flies in the Alps and is a paragliding instructor, And I mean, there was other people who said that they, it was really quite terrifying. In fact, Shane said that the thunderstorm, they were on the ground, but the electricity in the air was such that all their hair stood up, like literally, not just on their every bit of hair they've got, and just sizzling. And he was like, "Oh, thank God, I'm not in the air." So it's pretty violent stuff going on out there.
Having been stuck in a thunderstorm flying in the Pyrenees myself, I can understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. So yeah, so we've had. Let me just go through some of the kind of information. So today, the first person to arrive was Lars Meerstetter from Switzerland, who was also in the last edition. He was sixth in the last edition, and he literally camped over the ridge. He was down in Pau on the south side of the ridge where we are. And we asked him, what time did you think he would be coming? And he said 8. And he's Swiss. So what time did he come? 8. Literally on the minute. He was here at 8. We were all like, set your watch. Last is coming. So yeah, so he was the first in. And then we had a whole succession of people. I couldn't tell you now because there's just been so many today that we've had 9 already today. So they've just been coming in drips and drabs. But the problem today was that the sea breeze kicked in quite early and stopped a lot of people flying. So there's been a lot of walking today. Some people walking 40, 50, even 60 kilometers.
Yeah, it's one of the things that you can't see when you're watching live track at home as well. It's the effect of the sea breeze and how it creates a huge wall. 50, 60 kilometers in, this wall just suddenly appears where you're straight to the ground. There's nothing you can do. You just have to land and accept the fate. Obviously, some people like Christian yesterday have different ideas, but for most people, they hit the sea breeze wall, land, and they've got another 5-hour hike. So it's just part of the game, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but I mean, the hiking today was brutal because it was 35 degrees here. And when you're hiking in the middle of the day, and also, you're at sea level, it was just wall-to-wall sunshine. And, people were arriving here, just they'd already drunk like 20 liters and didn't need a pee kind of thing, So
Oh, well, I'm sure some of the backmarkers would appreciate a little bit of that sunshine, but I know Adrian's still stuck in France at the moment. He's not had the best of time when it comes to the weather. The weather has been terrible, and I'm afraid tomorrow doesn't look any better. It's a hard slog for everybody in that central X region.
Yeah, all credit to him. We haven't had any withdrawals today. And so the guys at the back are still keep going. I saw a video of Pascal Vallet yesterday. No, Vallet is French. He's not Spanish. And so Pascal Vallet, and he is the X-Pyr motor world champion. And he's 53 years old. I think he's 53. He was our second oldest competitor in the race. And he got to turn point 2. I think it was not yesterday, but the evening before, in a massive thunderstorm. He was a drenched rat, and he said, for him it was a victory just to get to turn point 2. He's like, and I was saying to Sebastian Weber when he arrived at Goal that this race isn't a race against other people; it's a race against yourself.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely one of the adventurous. It's such a difficult terrain, the Pyrenees. We always compare to the X-Alps, but the Alps has so many ridge runs. It's a bit more adaptable because you can cover so much huge distances just running ridges. The Pyrenees doesn't have that many of those ridges to run. You go from 3,500 meters to a 600-meter valley, and then you have to hike up the next one. And there's been some astonishing hiking. Today around the X region, there was some flights. You could see there was some flights. But yeah, there's been a lot of road work as well, which is an unfortunate thing. But roads are very attractive things to walk on when you're a bit wet and you're tired and your team are tired and you just want to be near the team for your sustenance and for support, for people to walk with you. So there's been an awful lot of road work today. I'd say local UK pilot that we're all watching, Ben Hodgson. Yeah, he's done a lot of groundwork today. It looks like a long old slog that he's done. So I'd be interested to see his Instagram videos later to see how he feels. But like you said, no one's been quitting today, have they? People have been slogging on and doing it for the adventure now, doing it to set a personal goal.
Yeah. And I mean, okay, there's some people that I think it's pretty certain they're not going to make it by tomorrow night, 9 o'clock. But I think the motivation to see so many other people make it has been like, well, I'll keep pushing and get as close as I can. So
yeah, and I think we've got a long day tomorrow, and we'll definitely get at least 3 more in goal tomorrow, I think. The weather on the southern side definitely looks a lot better. It's still going to be hot. It's the thermals wise and flying wise, I'm not going to say it's the best day, but at least it's going to be dry and there'll be road work. Small chance of thunderstorms, but yeah, we'll see how many more we can get into goal tomorrow. And then the race is on for the back markers to jump in a support van and rush back to the beach for the party, the all important end of goal party.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and the fly down, I think lots of people are looking forward to the fly down that's going to be happening. The people did fly down today, but the people who came in the evening couldn't because it was just too windy. I mean, actually, one I don't actually know who it was, but somebody flew and I was like, huh? What are they doing? It's too windy, but they had to go and land on the south side because it was just no wind.
They couldn't make the beach now.
No. And I mean, Standa Meyer went up there and went, I'm not doing that, you've got all this way. Yeah, no, you've come all this way and you're safe and you're healthy and you haven't injured yourself. Why would you do something crazy after the end of speed section when there's still 2 days to go? So no point. Anyway, so let's you had a look at the guys further back today, I think. You were
so we were watching the back markers. What I'll do is I'll share my screen and we'll have a look a little bit of the live tracking. Bear with me. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so as we can see, this is poor Adrian at the back here. To give you an idea of the distance of how far they've got to go, you can see he's still got more than halfway. So yeah, it brings that into context, really, doesn't it? But yeah, this X region today has just seen a lot of footwork, small flights, and a lot of footwork in this area. No real huge progress has been made by virtually anybody, apart from the pilots at the front. They were all clustering around goal at the end of speed section. Let's see how close we are now. So there's Marcus. He's not that far away now. And then there's a few others closing in. But there's then the huge distance. And I think the weather has played the biggest impact in this distance between that front pack and all the way back here to these guys. You can find yourself in such a terrible place and there's nothing you can do. You can hike up 1,500 meters, and if it's not playing ball, sometimes you have to walk down 1,500 meters just to meet your support van. And I think a lot of that has been happening recently with some of the back markers, which is a shame. But some of them are in Spain and maybe enjoying a bit of sunshine. I think Adrian and Pascal at the back, still in some of the sunny parts of France. If we have a look at weather, so this is today. As you can see, thermal activity hasn't been too bad, really. It's just that in some sections, it's been a little bit windy for them to make much headway. In the X region, where they're having to go back on themselves, it's been a little bit tamer closer to the coast. This was 2 p.m. today, so it's enabled a little bit more of progress for this pack. But if you look and contrast and compare for tomorrow around about the same time, it's a bit different there. We're looking at thermal strength, and it's not going to be a strong day thermal wise. It's quite light, and all we can do is just see how the back markers get on and if they can make much progress. Here's hoping that they get to achieve a personal goal tomorrow, because that's the thing that's pushing them forward now. Is they'll all have, I want to finish at this point, this is where I need to be, and that's what's pushing them and driving them. And then yeah, fingers crossed, and let's see what the stories come from it.
The story that's coming now is that Marcus Waltel is going to be here in 10 minutes.
Oh, okay, well done. That's more work for you, Judy. Brilliant.
10 minutes and you've got to because you've got to go and do another welcome. So Yeah, Marcos must have pushed really hard. I mean, he's very strong
Yeah,
physically, but
definitely has.
at this point, you sort of think, wow, to push now. I mean, it was quite interesting. Just before I have to go, but uh, Sebastian Weber had Jared Scheid in front of him, and he was when Sebastian arrived, he was like, "Oh, where's Jared?" Because I wanted to congratulate him, and we were like, "He's not here yet," and he was like, "He's not here yet. You mean I got here first?" And we were like, "Yeah." And Jared had taken a different route, and Sebastian just pipped into the post. So there's some people who can just muster that final strength. We saw it with Simon yesterday, that when he heard that Christian Schuck was flying, he was like saying, "How far is he?" And they said 20 kilometers, but he's flying, and he's like, "We're not safe. I've got to run." And he ran. I mean, we suddenly saw, he was doing 5 kilometers an hour, and then he suddenly was doing 11.5. So I think, Marcos doesn't want to have another night out. I think he wants to drive down this
He wants to
hill.
finish tonight. You can't blame him.
Yes, he does.
The
And
same
he's
with
got
Shane and Pierre yesterday. Pierre Remy.
yeah.
You could see the groundwork. What won it for Shane in that point was he was just that little bit stronger, maybe less fatigued. Maybe it's this nutrition that Rich has been putting him on and making him a purer athlete, but it was just that little bit extra edge on the ground that give him that play. So congratulations there. But it's hike and fly at the end of the day. It's not all about flying. Sometimes the hiking can win it for you.
Well, different. Last Meerstedt did it in this edition, going super south, because he just doesn't like the rainy French bit. He says, "I hate it," and he keeps asking me, like, "Please don't make us go from La Rhone, stay in France. Just let us go south straight away." And so he had words with him again today. So we'll see if that has any impact. But so Pass went south, and it wasn't a mistake, but it just didn't give him the edge that he hoped it did. And then Christian did it yesterday with his flight coming from the far north. I'll tell you one that we want to look out for is Benoit, the Canadian. I don't know if you saw in the live tracking that he was way north yesterday. At the end of the day, he ended up like north of Canigo. He was halfway to Carcassonne. And we were like, why there? And he was trying to avoid a thunderstorm, but then, it just got blown to the north, basically. And then he's left himself a huge task to come back south.
And he's done amazingly well, because he's not that far from goal now.
Yeah, no. I mean, he's really put the legwork in from the position yesterday. But we actually phoned him last night to say, like, "Are you okay? Because where you are, so much. Nobody's that far off the optimized line. What are you doing?" But it was all good. It was all good. Yeah. But anyways,
well, following on from yesterday, I was intrigued to see if anyone tried to emulate Christian and his move north. And a small period, I thought a couple of people may have tried. The problem we've got is they all have to fly what's in front of them. That's my favourite. My person I supported at the X-Pyr, Bud, Keith Paterson, he always says you have to fly what's in front of you. And if the pilot sees an opportunity and they can stay in the air, then being in the air can win a race. And Christian covered more kilometers in 1 hour in the air than the guys on the ground did in 5. So if they can fly, they will fly and take every, not necessarily a risk, but every opportunity to stay in the air. And today maybe didn't work quite so well in the northern area, but Christian yesterday, sorry to go back to it, was a genius move. He was flying with other pilots. Everybody was taking the same direct route straight to the valley, to the flatlands, and he just decided to do his own thing and left a group of pilots, and it worked remarkably for him. Maybe he's the new Kriegel. He's the new Kriegel move guy. We don't know. Let's see what the future holds.
Well, one thing I love about Christian Schuck is he's sponsored by his local brewery, like a true Bavarian.
Good man.
Sorry, one more to watch tomorrow is Friedrich Blose. He is, I've never seen anybody smiling as much in the X-Pyr. He just is constantly like on a high. And he's taking the scenic route. I was watching him today because he walked past my house, and the obvious thing to do walking past my house is walking on the road. He didn't. He went up all the little hills and look at all the views. And
He's on a sightseeing tour.
he's the one who's been like neck and neck with Michael from Poland, and every time Michael passes him, he's cheering and applauding him and saying, "Oh, I'm so happy! You know, he's doing so well." And Michael overtook him again, and he went and he was like, you know, pushing him to helping him along. So the spirit up the back there is really good. I'm hoping that Friedrich makes it tomorrow, so he's one to watch, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely in with a good chance because he's not that far away now. As long as his legs are still with him, and he can still do that groundwork. He's got quite an easy, direct route. Unless he goes off on a wander, he should get into goal tomorrow. So
I hope
fingers
so.
crossed for him.
Yeah, I hope so. Okay, because Marcus is coming, I'm going to have to go.
That's okay.
Thank you so much, Darren, for your
nice talking
tonight. Yep. Tomorrow night we don't have a daily summary because there's just not going to be time.
No.
We're going to have to wrap everything up and things and get ready for the prize giving the following morning. So our final guest for this edition of the X-Pyr was Darren Goodlad.
Okay, it was a pleasure.
Brilliant, and thank you so much.
I look forward to the prize giving. Hopefully it stays sunny, as Spain usually is.
Oh, it'll be hot, I think, as usual. And I'm going to be co-presenting it. I'm not going to be presenting it on my own. So it's actually going to be in English and Spanish this time. And my
brilliant.
also speaks French. So we can do like French, German, Spanish, and English. So that would be nice for the people watching.
Yeah, fantastic.
Brilliant. Right.
Thanks very much, Judith. Judith, I'll
the last one in for tonight.
Yeah. All right. Good luck.
Thank you. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye now.